how does this AI is also impacting organization behavior and all?
Anyone convinced against their will is of the same opinion still.
Okay. AI is more powerful than AI. Welcome to the VSERV podcast series. I am your host, Dr. Sudhir Gaur, Chief Education Officer, and I welcome you to the another episode of our series where we bring people from industry, different voices. Those create buzz, they create impact, and give you something which was never thought of. So today in this series, our guest is Ms. Sindhuja Rai.
Thank you, Dr. Gaur.
So we engage with inspiring voices who helps us in reimagine leadership, learning, and the way organizations thrive. Today's theme is fascinating, very close to my heart, the Leadership Symphony. Harmonize your team and amplify your results. And Sindhuja ji has accepted my invitation. She was in Pondicherry and she was traveling to Delhi, and we fixed up this schedule, and that's why we are here in the studio. Thank you, Sindhuja ji, for being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me to your studio and keeping me on this amazing podcast, which is organized by VSERV. And I'm really excited to be here amongst you and look forward to this session with you.
So in this 25-30 minute, ma'am, we will take your experience of years.
Sure. Sure. Absolutely.
So let me start the conversation. The word symphony reminds us of music. Different instruments playing together in the harmony to create something powerful. When you talk about leadership symphony, what does it mean in the context of organizations?
Yeah, so as you know, in symphony we are talking about multiple instruments, right? So whether it is violin, which is so beautiful, whether it is drum, which is so powerful, each instrument has its own power and its own tone and its own existence, right? But when we put it all together is when we create a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, right? So it is exactly the same when we are talking about a leader in an organization, say the business owner, or it is the CEOs, which we work with very closely. So when they have to work with different people, right, who are maybe heading different departments, maybe they are handling marketing or HR, or they are handling quality or production. They're different departments headed by different people or managed by different people. Now, each of these people have their own existence and their own belonging as to where they come from, their experiences. But when you put them all together is really when you create harmony, right? And when you create harmony is when really the true music plays, right? So that is the analogy that we feel is very relevant for a true leadership, in any organization.
So after working in the corporate space, I have not introduced my dear friends. Sindhuja ji is a CXO level coach. She trains, and I have attended her training when I was working in one organization, and there was a movie called Chalang, and she trained our leadership team through video snips of that movie. So what inspired you to leave the corporate space and then come to become a master coach or trainer?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I worked for almost 13 years in different industries, from hospitality, travel, BPOs, e-commerce, IT companies like Microsoft. I worked with Hilton, I worked with Sapient Corporation, was one of the founding members of Daksh, which is today Concentrix. After working for almost 13 years, what I realized multiple industries, right? So multiple industries, multiple roles, setting up operation teams, customer service teams. One thing I realized was that true leadership can actually get you the results that you always want, but sometimes we think we can't get, And that I learned from one of my mentors who I think taught me the first few lessons in leadership. And he taught me something very simple. He said, I don't want to see the Excels. I want to see how many coffees and teas did you have with your team. So what that really meant is, in those coffees and teas, what are the conversations you're having with your people? How much do you know your team? Like, do you really know when are their birthdays? Do you know when they've got married, or how many children they have, or how, which schools are they going to? And that is something that stays on with me, all through these years. And I realized when it was 13 years and I was thinking, now what? Where do I go from here? And I thought that if I have, an opportunity now, why don't I start my own enterprise where I can share with them, with the corporate.
Which is a very bold step.
It was a pretty bold step, and I think I started in a small city like Pondicherry. So it was really definitely a very bold step, because there is not too many big companies in Pondicherry. But I thought that it doesn't matter if it's big companies or small. Finally, it's the people. And
by the way, Sindhuja ji, being in the metro culture, and then you chose a very separate place like Pondicherry, what inspired you?
Yeah, so that's another very interesting question a lot of people ask me. So Pondicherry has a very interesting spiritual background to it, right? Because of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, who was French, and she started the ashram, the Sri Aurobindo ashram. One thing which resonated with me about their philosophy, and that I think sticks to me even till today, is worship through your work. And I always feel that, we spend a lot of time with different gods, with different temples. We do so many things to worship God, right? But what if I could actually give back to the people?
And your name is also from goddess?
My name is Sindhuja, so it means daughter of the ocean.
Yeah.
So it also resonated with me because I stay now very close to the ocean, actually. So I feel I belong there now. Also, of course, my husband comes from Pondicherry as well, so that was one of the reasons why we thought, after working probably globe-trotting, I would say, all across different continents, US, Europe, we lived in South Africa, we thought, Pondicherry gives us that space to just be, to just have that, because many times in the rat race, that in big cities you're traveling a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you don't really get the time. Like, we were traveling 3 hours every day just to go to work and come back, and that 3 hours we're sitting in the car. Our office was in the car, but that's not the life I dreamt at. I thought that 3 hours, if I can contribute to even serving to somebody, some people, it can help somebody's life, right? And Pondicherry gives us that space because it's a small town. I can actually meet 10 people in a day, still have my breakfast, lunch and dinner on time and have time to do what I want to do. All my research that I do on leadership and my work that I do, I have a lot of space, time to think clearly. So I think it's a great place for me to, it's like my heaven, really, to be there and kind of
You never felt that you are cut off from the metro culture or...
Actually, no, because, first of all, I have been traveling to all the metros probably even then, every 3-4 months for some work or the other. And, way before COVID, because I'm talking in 2005 onwards, I started my enterprise. So from then on, my work was a lot online.
Okay.
So when COVID came, people told me, now we can do online. I said, welcome to my world now, because, till then, people were not very comfortable working online. But when we started doing a lot of online work, it was not really very comfortable for people, right? But then slowly, I think COVID really helped me, definitely, because now the whole world understands the power of online, and maybe even hybrid functioning. So
does it impact the coaching or mentoring which you do through online and when you being in person? Does it make a sense or difference?
It's a very good question again. When I started my training coaching business 2005, right? I was initially more into training and brand consulting. Then I moved into leadership coaching. And what happened is, in the beginning when I started, I realized that, just doing training was not helpful, because you deliver the training, but after that you don't know what is happening with it in the company, right? So I wanted to get some solution which I can actually help them have an implementation, right? So coaching came to me as a great technique.
Okay.
Now, when I got into coaching and I got myself certified, and now I'm going for my MCC in ICF, which is the top level in ICF credentialing. I realized that it's not really a problem, in fact, when you do online coaching. In fact, I will tell you something which is, I don't know how many people will actually tell you this, or even coaches will tell you this, but I feel it is far more effective to do it online than face-to-face.
Achha.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because coaching is this little different methodology, okay, where we are asking questions to help the coachee or the other person, to help them to think through their mind and the thoughts that are going on in their head, and coming up with possible answers which probably are hidden somewhere inside in the subconscious, because you have so many thoughts in a day, millions of thoughts in a day, right? So you can't always know what is going on, right? And so we get lost, right, many times. So our coaching process is a beautiful or a very creative process, where we ask questions for helping the client to come up with the possible answers to their own situation.
Okay.
Right? So
to their context.
To their context. So if you're doing it face to face, yes, it develops a little chemistry, surely. But if you ask me, the people I'm coaching right now, my clients, these are all CEO, CXO level people. They don't have time. Today's world is so fast moving that even to get them on that one session, sometimes they reschedule it because suddenly something has come in their way, So it's a very important thing, I would say, to do it online. That way you're 100% sure, or not even 100, I would say 98.99% sure that the client will turn up on that call.
Okay.
Because if you do only face-to-face, because we do weekly sessions, right?
Right.
And also I have a group coaching program, which is again online for these people. So if they come together, it's a different harmony again, because these are people from different industries, different geographies, different roles, let's say, also, and they're all coming together and they're actually discussing their challenges that they're going through. So the output that you get from these sessions is an amazing, it's far better than even a trainer talking to them, because they're all leaders, right? And they're all successful in their fields. So if they're discussing it together, it has a different harmony. And to get that on a weekly basis is almost impossible.
एक चीज पूछना चाहूँगा सिंधुजा जी, आपने ट्रेनिंग से शुरू किया, फिर मेंटरिंग और कोचिंग आ गई, इसमें क्या बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है? क्या चीज लोगों को, और सक्सेसफुल लोग हमेशा लर्निंग की तरफ ज्यादा ध्यान क्यों देते हैं?
Okay. So the first question I'll answer you. So coaching, mentoring, and training, right?
Yeah.
Coaching, I explained to you what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now mentoring is about, let's say you ask me a question, and if I am an expert in that space, then I can mentor you on that.
Right.
Okay. So जैसे कि आप अगर violin सीखना चाहते हैं, ठीक है, and I am a good violinist,
right,
then I can mentor you on that subject. Okay, but training is slightly different. Okay, so Training would be more about really going into the details, like literally on the theory part also, right? अगर आप theory भी सिखा रहे हो, तब आप थोड़ा training की तरफ navigate करते हो, right?
Okay.
Coaching is primarily where we are asking questions and you're responding to us. We are not telling you anything at all.
Okay.
We are not telling you anything at all. Now, I'll just add one more point to this because I think it's relevant here. So you see, what happens is, in any engagement where you're trying to help somebody, okay, in simple way, don't get confused about whether it's coaching, mentoring, or training. You are actually doing all the three at different points in time.
Together.
Right? Together, yes.
Okay.
So there could be a time when I will probably realize that, okay, maybe you're feeling stuck and you're not able to find a solution to something. And you may not want to listen to what I want to say. And maybe I'm not an expert in that space, right? Now, when I'm coaching all these CEOs, such senior people, I'm not an expert in their industry. They are the heroes. They know what to do.
Does you feel sometimes that people get offended when you raise some question or give them coaching, or they take it very positively?
No, because you see, first of all, we don't go in that space where they're an expert. They don't need us in that space.
Okay, they have already created something.
So usually these people come to me when they are feeling stuck in terms of their team. Let's say their team is having a conflict. Okay, so like I have been last 2 years working with the managing director, where they had a group of department heads who were having conflicts. And they are going on, disturbing him because, they only go to him, right? And they don't have a general manager, so they only go to the managing director. So this gentleman came to us saying that, my team is always coming to me and my time is going to, always firefighting with them. I need to find a solution. What do I do? That's when they come to us. So then we look at, okay, everything. We kind of do a little bit of diagnosis as to where they are right now. Each of them, we have these one-on-one calls or discussions with them. We do basically a pre-diagnostic test with everybody and see where they are standing, their assessments as a leader. And then we kind of sit with everybody and create a harmony, right? So there are many reasons why there are conflicts. Now, when they come to us and they know that this is a problem they can't solve, then we help them with that, right? But obviously, if I go to him and I say, how to run your business, that's not my job, because he knows very well.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
So, and if he feels that I can help him, and maybe I have an expertise in that. Let's say I have been in a BPO operations, and I know, okay, this process can help him, or this tool can help him, or this framework can help him. Maybe I'll share that and we can discuss it if it's helpful to them or not. But it's also, the coaching, I think, style is a very important style for any leader, not just for me as a coach.
I've attended your training. You train from very basic level where people get involved in that and they try to take what is personally benefited for them. Not that somebody is giving an advice and we need to follow that.
Yes. So, what I've learned is, Dr. Gaur, that anyone convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Okay. So, the best is that,
Can you repeat, ma'am?
So this is actually a saying by Zig Ziglar. He's a very well-known sales coach, and he's written many, many books.
Yeah.
So he says that anyone convinced against their will is of the same opinion still.
Okay.
Right? So the best way is to have a pull approach, not a push approach, right? Okay. Which is primarily by asking them questions. And that's why I love coaching, because it's a beautiful technique. For any place that you're having any kind of a conflict, the best is to ask open-ended questions. You can never go wrong in that, because it gives respect to the other person.
Right.
You leave it open to them. It's like when you open your arms, you're defenseless, right? It's in psychology. We say that if you hold your arms like that, that means you're defensive. That means you're holding your heart. That means you're scared that somebody's going to hurt you. But if you open your arms, means you are, you don't feel threatened by the other person. So obviously, you let the other person take the front seat, And then, he feels comfortable. Then he will answer whatever you're asking. But if we tell the person that, okay, Dr. Gaur, you must do this, you may not agree. You may not think that I may know what I'm talking about. You may not even like me or like my experience, or may not know my experience. You don't know me at all. There could be many reasons why you don't want to agree to it.
Right.
You may say yes on the face because you want to be polite, but in reality, you may not follow it. So what's the point, really? It doesn't help. So that's why coaching is a very powerful tool. I feel it's far more powerful.
I have read one thing which I follow by Mark Twain, that there is nothing training can't do. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I agree. But the student has to be open to it. It's very important.
Absolutely.
So, we always say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right. So, ma'am, I would like to ask one thing, like how do we amplify results? Once a team is harmonized, you have done something for them. How can leader amplify collective performance, which is the need of the thought of the training or the coaching or the mentorship?
So you see, the first step actually is to have clarity, right?
Clarity.
Clarity in what? As to, first of all, the shared purpose, right? Why are we doing it? So many a times what happens is, in the run of life or run of the business, we end up forgetting why we are all doing this, right? The shared purpose is very important.
Right.
The second that is very important is, what are we doing? What is the common goal? What are we trying to actually achieve?
Okay.
Right? And the third very important thing is, how are you going to do it? So, what are the core values that you're following? Because you see, I'll be very honest, in my so many years of experience of working with different companies, different industries I've worked with, I mean, you name it, manufacturing, retail, consulting, education, government, any organization. One common problem which I've always seen is misalignment of vision, goals, and core values.
Okay.
So just having them stuck on the wall.
They are the lines people think that it has been written in the brochure or marked on the walls of the company.
No,
they do not align with that.
That's not enough. The alignment is very important. So aligning your your vision, goals, and your core values. That's the first step, which is very crucial.
Okay. And next is?
The second step, which is very important, is once you got your goals, you know what the shared goals are. Do your people know what they're supposed to do? Right? Because if the people are not aware, right? So there are different stages of a team, right? So forming, norming, storming, performing, right? You might know that. So when the team is forming and it's going to norming, many times the people are very confused as to what are their job responsibilities. Like this client I'm working with right now, when I started working with them initially, they said, our JD is written there, but we are not doing half the things, or we're doing some other things.
Right.
So obviously there will be confusion.
It is the story of most of the organizations.
Exactly my point. So alignment, I think the key word, if you can take back, or anybody who's watching this can take back today, is complete alignment from top to down, right? And also clarity for the people. So if they're going to do this, what is the result they're going to get? Has that been made clear to them? Is the benchmarking clear to them? Because sometimes it's just written in some notebook. It's not even told to them very clearly, right? So it's a responsibility of the organization or the HR to explain these things very clearly, because that is on which they are assessed, right? So the appraisals are based on that. If that's not clear, there is a big challenge. The third very important part is,
what happened in the organization, person does a lot of things, but when it comes to appraise or give him a performance bonus, boss asks, what is written, what you have done.
Yes, that's true. What is written, what have you done? Yes, but what is written, how right is that? Is there a proper benchmarking done or not before you figure it out that, okay, this is how we're going to benchmark these people? And how is it connecting from top to down? So to the nth level in the organization, does everybody know what they're doing on a daily basis and how is it contributing to the bigger goal of the organization? I think that's the most important piece. If that is the piece you have got it cleared, I'm telling you, half your, not half, I mean, I would say even 3/4 of your problems of businesses are solved. You can scale your business very confidently. You know when to do what because you have a whole team in symphony, right?
Absolutely.
So that's very important. Now, very important also, very, very important is how do you give a feedback in an appraisal, right? It's not to criticize. It is to have a coaching approach by asking them the questions. Asking them, how do you think this can be done better? What do you think we could have done better? We could have done better.
Rephrasing of the words.
Rephrasing of the words. How we do it is very important. It's not what we are doing. I think today the problem is we are doing too much. And I see this in, I'm talking about even big, organizations worldwide, global teams. I see that they're so busy, and at the end of the day, the smallest things, which are the most important things, are actually getting missed out. That is why people leave.
Right.
Attrition is high not because they're overworked. The attrition is high because they don't feel respected. They don't feel that I'm safe to talk about openly about what is really mattering to the organization. Not even to them, to the organization. So, this is something I've heard from many of the clients that I've worked with. And that is a big challenge. So the feedback is very important. So you've aligned the goals, you've told them what they need to do, but how do you give them the feedback? And also, before you even go to that, have you built that accountability and the trust with them? Why should they do what they are supposed to do? And if they have a problem, who should they come to? Do they feel safe to come to me as a leader or not, right?
Right.
And have I built that trust that my team actually works with me in Symphony?
Is there a bridge or a wall?
Exactly. So do you have an open door policy? Can they come to you and talk to you openly? And can they share what they feel, that really can work? In my experience, it's never the people who have a problem. That's what I have seen. It is always leadership driven.
Achha. Top down.
It's always top down. And I can be very honest about it because it is a fact. I'll give you a very simple example of real life. If you see a child misbehaving somewhere, who do you point the fingers to?
Parents.
If we do that in our home, why don't we do that in our own workspace as well? Because it is the same thing. The team is looking up at the leaders as to what they're doing, or even sometimes the leaders are not even aware. Subconsciously, the energies are flowing to your team members. I've even seen that happen. Sometimes have you noticed when you come into an office and your team member already kind of knows what you're going to do today? It happens, right?
Already always knowing.
They kind of have because they're working with you every day, they kind of sense your energies and you sense their energies also, right? So you're actually all working in an orchestra, if you really see. We just need to hear each other's music. We just need to know how to work with each other's strengths. Know, okay, if this sound is going little this way, how can I turn it this way and make it still work together? And when you have true harmony, then you have resilience, then you have agility, then you have innovation. But if you're going to, because today's world is very, hybrid, right? And you have people from diverse cultures, you have diversity in cognizant diversity also, right? People have different thinking patterns. And of course, the markets are crashing, this and that is happening. In such tough situations, if you're going to start pointing fingers at each other, it's just going to result into friction, right? It's not going to get us into any harmony. Right? So basically creating a harmony gives us a framework. And I'm not meaning that you don't have to have conflicts. Positive conflicts are actually very helpful. In fact, you should have positive conflicts. But that you can only have if the team feels psychologically safe. That is when they will open up and talk about things, right? And if they talk about things, that's when they can actually implement some new ideas. But if they're not going to, like many times you must have seen in a meeting room, people don't even speak anything, just the boss talks. Everybody's sitting and quietly listening. That's not a team. That's not a true team.
That's not a team.
Right?
Yeah, ma'am. So, I would like to come on the technology front now. This AI is now taken over many things. And the person, if he does not know about AI, he feels, am I separated from the community or not using things, or speed is the name of the game. how does this AI is also impacting organizational behavior and all? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so see, AI is, it just reminds me of the time when we had no computers and then the computers came, right?
Right.
And everybody was like, oh my God.
I'm of
now.
that age.
Yes, me too. So, that time we thought, people who don't know computers will lose jobs, right? Well, people didn't really lose jobs, they actually learned computers. That's what I remember, right? I don't know if you remember the same thing.
Right.
Today, I think people are doing exactly the same. It's the same thing when we got, digital phones, right? Right. So when we could, the apps that we started having, right? Even today, WhatsApp. When WhatsApp started or Facebook started, nobody knew it. But now, everybody in this world probably has a Facebook account or a WhatsApp account. So it's a trend. It's a trend that's going to work. It's a tool which can definitely help. It's a fantastic tool, just like Google is, right? It's an advanced version which can be helpful in many ways, right? In different technologies.
But I am of that opinion, Sindhuja ji, EI is more powerful than AI. Emotional intelligence cannot be.
I was coming to that. Absolutely.
Okay.
I was coming to that. But we must not also, I was about to say this, that, AI has its benefits. We should know how to use those benefits for ourselves. So if you're into any kind of a content, or you're looking at a brainstorming methodology, that you want to brainstorm with somebody and you don't have anybody to talk to, maybe it's a great tool. Yeah, or it can help you in other, businesses also, right? In different spaces, it can help you to make things faster. I think the objective for AI was to help in reducing time, right, and helping with faster results. But obviously, it cannot take a human brain away, right? The way human beings think. And I can only talk about my industry. So in coaching, many of people I see or work with, they've been kind of absorbed with the fact that is AI going to replace coaches? Okay, and there are in fact some people who are trying to do that also.
Okay.
However, because I do work in that space, so I can say very confidently, the AI can get you some answers, but there is a big challenge. It cannot sense emotions. When I'm looking at you and I'm looking at your eyes,
right,
and I'm observing not just your eyes, your emotions, the way you're talking, the voice modulation, or just the way you're looking, which side are you looking, and what you've been telling me in the past. It's not just that. That part probably I can do. But I know Dr. Gaur from, let's say, 5 years. That experience, they cannot put it together in AI.
Absolutely.
Right? So my understanding of you will not just be those little bit of, superficial things. It will be my understanding of you for so many years. And also, the way I will ask you questions will be by my own experience of my own life. That AI cannot replace, right?
That's very personal.
Yes, that's very personal. So having all respects for the tool and the technology, it's perfect, no problem. But I think it goes hand in hand, It's not about replacing anyone. It is working in symphony again. How do you utilize the technology to help us rather than replace us? We don't need this to replace us.
So 3 things what I have collected till now. Leadership is about harmony, not hierarchy.
Absolutely.
True?
Yes, I agree.
Teams thrive when there is a trust, listening, and alignment.
Absolutely.
This is what you have framed very differently. And results amplify when leaders focus on collective strength, not just individuals' brilliance.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So in the closing, I would like to understand one thing, Sindhuja ji, from you in your experience of corporate and industry and blah, 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 and now coaching and mentoring to the people. Does training and this improve leadership development? Does it improve results of the organizations or the bottom line of the organization?
Absolutely. 150%.
150%.
It does. What is important is, this comes with a disclaimer, I would say. What is very important is, how do you structure that entire process? And that's something we specialize in. The entire framework of how do you conduct that program so that you can get tangible outcomes at the end of the day, that is very, very important. So,
and does coaches and training team support organizations' objective in getting it done through their team, training, coaching, mentorship, everything?
Yes.
Is it like a harmony which you have explained?
Yes.
Okay. So, any experience, Sindhuja ji, would you like to share with our audience where you have really impacted and that gives you satisfaction that I have done this?
Yeah, so I was telling you about, I've done, of course, a lot of work with different organizations. I can share one very interesting example. So we coached a group of 15 leaders. They were senior leaders of a consulting company over a period of about 4 months. So when they came in, they were task managers, I would say.
Okay.
So they knew how to get the job done, but they had no clue of leadership.
Okay, they were implementers.
They were implementers. They knew what needed to be done. If they had a team, they had to get this job done by the team, and that's what they were focusing on. But what is true leadership, they had no clue at all. We started this program.
Have you created your own definition of leadership also? Very simple.
I feel leadership is not a title, first of all. It's a practice. I feel it's a practice, and it's a day-to-day practice. When you look at somebody working, even in your home, let's say, a maid servant, somebody working in your home, she could actually teach you some good principles of leadership.
Right.
Like sometimes we say we should just keep silent, don't talk. Sometimes they do teach us not to talk. If you tell them something and they don't feel comfortable with it, they'll just not say anything. So I feel it's not about who is a leader, it is about what you do about leadership, really. That is very important.
So it's not a position, it's a practice.
It's a practice, yes.
Thank you, Sindhuja ji, for having this remarkable conversation which we had in last 30 odd minutes, and definitely we would love to have another session with you whenever you are coming, or you will invite us to any forum.
Sure.
And it's our privilege that you have spared your valuable time today
to
be with us in our studio. So, friends, this was one of the series where I have invited people from my life, those who have contributed me, and it was a very difficult time, I understand, the Corona time, where I have interaction with Sindhuja ji, and since then maybe we have not met often, but our relationship is there. So thank you very much for today's podcast, and we will meet you in the next series.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gaur. It was a pleasure having welcomed here in this amazing studio and sharing these thoughts with you. And thank you for asking some amazing questions. So it was really nice to meet you again. Thank you so much.